Hey, and another version, another day, another week, another 2 weeks.
Hello,
Jen
everybody.
Yuchin, welcome to the show, everybody. And my wonderful co-host, Jen Yuchin. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Ari.
Like a little beanie.
Thanks.
So we were just talking about. I mean, I had just written an email to somebody about like the whole COVID thing, and it literally feels like it's been like we've been through a war.
I think it just was like the 1 year anniversary.
Right. And I feel like it's been like it's like I have COVID exhaustion. I think everybody does
Oh,
at this
yeah,
point.
definitely.
And
Except for
we'll
Australia.
Yeah, except for Australia. I mean, we've been hit hard. There's no doubt about it. And people have gotten sick. People have lost loved ones. It's horrible. But you know
Yeah.
what? You got to move forward in this world, and we can't look backward. We have to be positive and say there is a future. We're all going to get there, and we'll get through this as well. I think collectively, it's funny because everybody goes through people have personal problems, and they go through their personal problems by themselves on their own.
Yeah.
And then, what
This
I
is a
think
personal problem that's affecting everybody.
everybody, but that makes it a communal problem.
Yeah.
That makes it, a country problem. And that's, I think,
Bonding.
yeah, and I think that's in a lot of ways. I think that we took for granted all the things we had before,
Yeah.
and going beyond this pandemic, we're going to realize how valuable and how precious those moments are. As simple as a barbecue with your family in the backyard, or sitting out with the people from your town and watching fireworks on 4th of July.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something I think
Or
people will
going to a
be like,
convention.
or even going to a gaming convention, exactly, or coming to a GameCon, which is, by the way, we're planning the end of August. We're hoping, please, that we can have an event it's the first one will be in California. We're starting it out in California.
It's awesome.
And my big bro is making plans and setting that up. And then we're going to have another one in Atlantic City. I'm actually talking to Ocean Resort Casino and the Tropicana, and hopefully going to land a spot there for the Jersey people, Philly people, and try to get back.
We're all fiending for the conventions.
We're all fiending, so we're trying to get back to normalcy, whatever that is. But I think there's been a lot of things we've learned.
Yeah.
One of those things is, if you are sick, even if you're not have COVID, I think it's personal courtesy now from now on that people are going to start wearing masks. If you start coughing, people will be like, you know what, you should really wear a mask. It would be nice. It's just nice.
Other countries do it.
Nice etiquette. So, but anyway, let's get to the news today. 2 weeks of stuff going on. I see we got the Esports Entertainment Group. 2 articles there. Think good luck and happy for Grant Johnson, the CEO of Esports Entertainment Group. He's done a great job. They're
going all over. They're spreading out.
Yeah, last I checked, as I said to you earlier, I think their stock is up at $17 a share. It started out at like $7 a share. But we're going to start here with the first one, about this one. He's signed a deal, $30 million deal with Lucky Dino Acquisition. And
Okay.
yeah.
So pretty much the deal was finalized through cash raised in equity offering in February, and the Esports Entertainment Group is gaining access to Lucky Dino's premium casino platform. This is extending their reach into multiple new jurisdictions across Europe, particularly in Scandinavia, where esports are extremely popular, as well as giving them reach to Lucky Dino's player base. So they're really able to spread out a little bit more in the esports gambling space and the gambling space in general.
Right.
And they're really taking hold of so many areas in esports right now.
Yeah. So it's, that I just have a few things to say about this. In a lot of ways, it's funny because the Esports Entertainment Group is, the word esports is in its name. But I think that they have a lot of things up their sleeves that they're working on. One of those things,
they're literally an entertainment group.
Right. And one of those things happens to be that they are really trying to do what I do. which is at the Casino Esport Conference, which has changed the conversation, changed the ecosystem in the casino world, that it's going to attract younger people.
Yeah.
By acquiring the Dino Casino, which is an online casino, they could start populating that with esport oriented and video game oriented content, where people can then start playing peer-to-peer and do other things on an actual casino platform, which is a good move on their part. And this is why their stock is rising, because they're doing really good moves.
And they're really aligning with just like sports fans in general, which might even bring some just typical sports fans to be esports fans, and in result, esports gambling fans. Because in the other article having to do with them, they just signed their deal with the New England Patriots and the New England Revolution. And as a part of that agreement, the Esports Entertainment Group is going to use both the Major League Soccer Club and the National Football League Club to promote its biannual esports tournaments on its Esports Gaming League platform. It says the Esports Entertainment Group is going to be leveraging tickets, player appearances, digital media, and signage to promote its events, while also creating custom videos to promote the tournaments, which will be featured in the team's online digital marketing channels. So it's taking the sports fans, it's advertising specifically through different custom videos into their direct marketing channels of the regular sports fans. So it's really tying a nice bow around everything.
Yeah. And I think in a lot of ways it's really, I know Grant Johnson. I don't know where he, as far as like, he knew the right people. Like, and then in other words, if you're going to start something, I know he had a background in iGaming originally, which is the online gambling platform for casinos and gambling industry. So I think he made some money there. He also, his family was involved in the insurance business. I think his father was, or something like that. So, when you have good people around you and you have, it all takes money. We were just mentioning, we were talking about this before the show started. I mean, that if you have money, you're going to be able to make money. It's a sad part of our ecosystem, but this is the way it works. You have to know people that have it. I mean, you can, or you have to start something and do it, with a lot of people and sort of build your brand. I mean, I built the Game-A-Con brand that we have now. I mean, obviously, it's taken its hiatus because of COVID, but
everything else has as well.
As everything else has, but you got to understand, it didn't come from me having a bankroll. It had me. I knew people that were interested. We began a community, and it was more of an organic
passion.
It was passion and an organic move. And it's funny because that type of building and business is never really rewarded or never really gotten. It doesn't get much attention. Our society, business-wise, it's like, we see all of our pop culture with like the rappers walking around with the wads of cash and everybody throwing out the money. It's all about flash and cash. And, that's why a lot of good ideas take a lot longer to build than the ones that do build right away. A lot of those that do build right away, some of them don't make it and some of them make it.
Yeah, it takes like 10 years to get popular.
Right. So in what I see the Esports Entertainment Group doing is, to this date, as I said, they're $17 a share, but to this date, they haven't made any money. Well, I think they've made some money, but not a lot of money. Definitely not as much as they've been spending. But they made a $30 million acquisition of the Dino online gambling site, online casino. $30 million from equity, meaning that they raise more money by selling more stock, and then they use that money to buy Dino. But what's their actual profit that they've made? If you look, and you could look that up because it's a publicly traded company, but last stockholders meeting I was on one of the stockholders meetings. Not that I'm a stockholder, but I was able. It's a public phone conversation that you can get invited to because they're trying to get more people to buy their stock. That you can listen to. What's their profit margins? And at that time, it was like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. They had only made maybe $2-3 million profit.
Yeah.
So if you're spending 30 million and you're only making 2 million, eventually, if that pattern continues, that's a problem. So how do you have to make more money? Well, you have to get more people. And in order to get more people, you have to be part of a community. If you're not
Yeah,
part of
they
a
need to know who
community,
you are and
right.
trust you.
So yeah, and they also have to trust you. So a publicly traded company that has a lot of money in it, that's much more of a corporate-y kind of world, are they going to get the kind of gaming swell from video gamers? I mean, I'm asking you.
You're
I mean,
asking me.
in your opinion, what you think?
I think they're doing a good job of spreading themselves out. I think that, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, I think that it's going to make its reach to the younger audience, and I think that they are going to jump on board.
You think so?
Especially after the pandemic, because everybody's going to want to be trying different things. And I think as people get older, they get a little bit more bored. They want to mess around on their phone a little bit. Maybe they'll do a little bit of gambling on their phone. Maybe once it's a little bit more popular, the esports gambling, and people are able to do it more easily, I think they would throw like $5 down, however much money, and just try their luck during a game.
Well, that actually, it's a good segue to the next article, because with Newzoo, its esports revenues projected to continue upward, and one of those main revenue sources is, as you mentioned, of course, is gambling on esports. That's something I think that they talk about. Maybe it was this article, another article.
It might have been the one about the senator wanting a regulatory body in Nevada.
Right. So we'll get to that. But overall, then, esports obviously went up during the pandemic.
Yeah, it said they published their 2021 Global Esports live streaming market report, showcasing the viewership and live streaming audiences are on a growth trajectory for 2021. But everybody's kind of been saying that, which is fine, because that's the truth, right? So it says while certain segments of esports revenues took a hit due to the pandemic, such as decline in ticket sales and merchandise revenue due to the cancellation of in-person events, other segments are expected to perform well. Newzoo estimates that more than 3/4 of the total 2021 esports market revenue, or $833.6 million, will come from media rights and sponsorships. So I think that is content, and I'd like to bring that up a lot, because it is the most important thing. If anybody's going to care about you, they're going to want to watch your content.
Well, it's interesting they talked about this number here, this $833.6 million.
And that's coming from media rights and sponsorships, they say.
Right.
Which is kind of like two separate things, so why are you lumping it together?
Right. But, here we talked about, I mean, where's that talk of the $1 billion point that they say they're supposed to be reaching? I mean, I heard
I don't see billions anywhere here.
That's exactly my point. I think we're moving into another
they're like, remember us talking about billions? Don't worry about that. Just look at these now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what it's true. I mean, 3 years ago, I think they said that esports was going to be in the billions.
Yeah.
That we reach $1 billion by 2020 or 2021, and it really so. There has been an enormous impact, and people don't even realize this, but as there is a lot of talk about how,
this
COVID.
Isn't of it though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, people talk about how COVID has done well for esports, and in some sectors, in this particular
the viewership
article,
it has.
Right, that's what
more people are home, and more people are like watching it.
Right, and that's what it says in this article with the Newzoo. It says some sectors of esports did very well, and some did forget
really poorly.
Yeah, some of them were just and I was talking to my brother about this the other day about you see so much action, so many things going on. Like if you're on LinkedIn and you're connected to close to 8,000 people, like I am. I think I'm 50 short of 8,000, but there's a lot of activity, a lot of people posting things. A lot of conjecture, a lot of mergers, a lot of buyouts, a lot of this and that. And he said there's a reason why they're doing that is because they can't do anything else.
Yeah.
So they can't really, it's like we're still in this sort of mode where we're all stuck and everybody's waiting for the government to say, okay, the CDC guidelines now are a little bit less restrictive. and we can now gather in bigger groups and have, gaming conferences and, video conferences and esport tournaments and things like that, because it's been really, pretty tough, I think, for everybody in overall in every industry. But, we're trying to, I think Vegas has now said that the casinos can have 50% capacity.
Okay.
Which is, which brings us to, it brings us to our next article, which is this senator wants to see an esports regulatory body in Nevada. But, I think that there's a reason for this. And that reason is because they have to start now because of COVID. I think what's happened is they see that they have to start to pivot.
Yeah.
And it's starting now this has already been in play in New Jersey for a while now.
Yeah.
And I think Vegas now is just starting to pivot. And this Senator Ben Kickheffer is decided that he is now going to build an organization, sort of like what they have for the mixed martial arts. There is an MMA.
So he wants to model it after the Nevada Athletic Commission,
right.
And they target irregularities in combat sports, like you said, MMA, boxing, and imposes penalties on wrongdoers.
Right. So where does this leave the ESIC, Esports Integrity Coalition, and people like Ian Smith? Does that regulate him to only European? If it's being controlled and regulated on a state basis in the United States, then they don't need guys like Ian Smith.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what do you think about that? Do you think that'll work out, or do you think that it would kind of like create a conflict?
I don't think it will. Well, if you have two governing bodies or two bodies that are watching cheating or wrongdoers and things like that,
I guess that's better.
Might be better than just one.
Yeah.
They can actually go back and forth and say, do you have that as does that look like cheating to you? You know what I mean? And they can analyze it better in that way. So it could be better for the both of them, especially because it mentions in that article about Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And Counter-Strike's is a very big European game, and it's also big cheating ground, and it's also very big betting. There's a lot of wagering. It's probably the most popular game that's wagered on, for sure, of any game that's out there. So I mean, there's a lot. I think it's good that they're setting up a regulatory body. I think that helps regulators even. It's not going to open up new positions and jobs for younger people, to get involved in state regulatory commissions.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, the older guys that I know of that are regulators in Nevada, they're like, oh, we don't even understand esports,
Yeah, it does mention that. It says how current regulators, what does it say? It says that regulators will have to work with game publishers who may be in their 20s, and then I guess the new people in these new positions too, younger regulators, and it says that there's going to be an intergenerational clash between the two ages. Intergenerational clash.
Well, Jen, there's a job for you waiting for you in Nevada. As a regulatory, as a regulator.
I don't know the first thing about what a regulator does outside of just making sure people don't cheat.
Right. Well,
I guess that's the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. It's only going to be positive for the gambling industry. It's only going to help the esports industry. Again, though, this is something, as you can see, in every article that we covered here with EEG, with the Newzoo report, with so far, and the senator wanting to create an esport regulatory body, these are things that are happening. They're talking about how people can't really do much because of COVID, but these are governing bodies and companies that are positioning themselves
for the future.
I would say within the next 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
You're going to see a very, very big difference in, things. I think things are going to get better. I was just on the New Jersey site to try to see if I can get my shot. My arm, because I need that.
Nice.
I mean, if I want to travel anywhere, it's like probably the best thing to do.
100%. I
And
agree.
I just, the thing is, I signed up and it only got me to 60%, and I started to fill out more. And I don't know, New Jersey stuff is like all screwed up
Yeah.
when it comes to this stuff. But this is, you know, I mean, this is, everybody's got to get their shot and got to get ready. And I know that you had the coronavirus, but now, are you going to get the shot too?
I guess eventually I want to see a few more people get it first.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not really
So,
any reason, but I do plan to get it, but I'm not like high risk or anything, so.
right. So, you know, and then talking about the coronavirus and talking about, like we were mentioning before, how esports has really taken a big hit. This last article that we're going to cover today about the Alienware to terminate partnership with Riot Games. Of course. I mean,
Alienware is ending their partnership a year early surrounding the controversy with Riot because the CEO was accused of sexual harassment and gender discrimination.
And you know what? I completely agree with that move. That makes plenty of sense. But in a lot of ways, you know, if you can give any sponsor an excuse at this point to jump out, to back out, they're going to do it. They're going to do it in 5 seconds.
Well, honestly, isn't that the best publicity that Alienware could get? Because, like, I never think about Alienware, and they used to be, like, the top gaming brand. But, like, who cares about them, and who cares about them being a part of the LCS partnership? So I think this is the most publicity that they've gotten, like, in a while. Like, everybody cares about their name right now because they bounced out a year early.
Well, that's also something. I mean, you know, it's almost like if you have no positive exposure, it's better to get positive exposure from something that was negative.
Because they're like allies, and then people are talking about them.
And they're like
the greatest advertising campaign they could have had.
They're jumping on the Me Too movement, so now they're going to resonate with women.
Good guy Alienware, you know.
That's right. So I think that's a good move on their part. I also think that
it's for the right reasons.
But you know, I also think it has a lot to do with what's going on with COVID. I listen.
Yeah, that's like their out card, right? Like,
exactly. I mean,
they have a lot of controversy, so we're gonna leave, not because like we want to save money.
Right. Exactly. And the truth is, you know, if it as a sponsor themselves under you know, that banner in LCS, they couldn't the sponsorships, all the things have not been able to happen over this last 14 months. And, you know, and during the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was like, oh, this will be over in like 4 months, you know, it'll be over in 5 months. And it dragged on and it dragged on and it dragged on. And we were all sitting there waiting for it to end, and people were doing things, but they weren't able to really do anything. So a Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call. And where did it go? It went nowhere. And eventually everyone now is just exhausted. And they scratch their head going, well, where do we go from here? And then there are some people that are just saying, you know what? I'm changing careers completely. I'm just going to pivot to completely something else.
Yeah.
And there are, like, again, as I go over everything in what's happened, there are some industries that have done very well during COVID, and there are some that haven't done well. And esports is one of those that, in video gaming, has done well in some sectors, but again, hasn't done well in others.
Yeah.
You know, if you were in the movie theater business,
oof.
If you were in Broadway and you did Broadway shows, I mean, they're not coming back till the fall. So at least that's what I heard. And there are just a lot of companies like that. Concerts, all the entertainment, hospitality was hit so hard. Like I said, I told you I was in Washington, D.C. this past weekend, and we were at this place, and there was nobody there. And we're like, can we get a late checkout? And they're like, yeah, sure. When do you want to leave? You know, it's like, because it didn't matter.
Like,
no one else is coming back. No one else is there. So it's not like, you know, it's slowly coming back, but it's still a crawl. And even when it is, and we're at a point where everyone says, the government says, the CDC guidelines say, okay, you can go back. You have to wear your mask, blah, blah, blah. People are still going to be very scared to travel, scared to do and get out there. Yeah, and rightly so. Yeah, because we're sort of like we're so shell-shocked from this entire experience that it's going to be
It's going to be a transition.
a big transition to try to crawl out of it. But that's all we have for tonight.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, it was short and sweet, and I appreciate you. Oh, by the way, anybody out there, if you're listening, you're watching, we do have a new magazine. It's called Casino Esport Technology Magazine. You can catch it at cetmag.net.
cetmag.net.
cetmag.net. Let's make that. Let's set this up here so everyone can get it. cetmag.net.
cetmag.net.
Yeah, we will what happened here? No. Okay. So shouldn't be a B there, but let's set that up again. So no, the cetmag.net is a magazine where you can get all your information. Our video will also be posted there. This video will be posted there in all the other content. So, and also if there are viewers out there, this is a magazine that has a feed from other articles. It populates with other articles from all over the world. But if you're a writer, or if you want something, you have something to say about video gaming and esports, or the casino industry, or technology, or immersive experiences, please write us. There's a way to get in contact with us. There's contact information at cetmag.net, or you could go to the Casino Esport Conference website and go there and find me there, and you can click on send us your article, and we'll post your article up there. We have a distribution list of 15,000 people. So that goes out to all of our subscribers every single week. And the articles are updated daily. So that's the news. Yeah. So we'll talk to you soon, Jen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ari.
Everybody, thank you for watching. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Take care. Bye.